Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. I hope everyone's having a good day, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Obviously, we're still talking about Dan O'Keefe's explosive video where he says that he has a video of Jay being tortured that was actually sent to him. And he actually said it with quite some conviction as well. Even I actually stood up when I heard this and I thought, oh my God. I think Dan's delivery, the way he comes across, he definitely gets people's attention. And I think he shocked a lot of people, and people are saying that it was quite hard, who are quite sensitive to matters like that. I do agree a little bit. I think he could have been more sensitive in the way that he came across. But I said that I'm going to give him another 24 hours, and I will message him to find out some information of what he said to the public and how he is going to back it up. And I hope that he can, but we've got to give him a little bit of time to back up what you've said. So Christine said he's probably in a dilemma. Who do you trust? I agree, because what's he going to do? Give it to the UK police and then they give it to the Spanish police, and that video is filed somewhere and we'll get back to you. We never hear anything. That's a possibility, because we know how bent the Tenerife police can be. And the evidence may well disappear. That's a possibility. Or it's an horrendous case. That's extremely sick. My heart breaks out for Jay. Bless him. Someone else says it takes 16 hours on a direct flight from London to Mogadishu airport in Somalia. Not a month. Ayub hadn't had his passport seized or been put on Interpol. Has been in and out of the UK since the Jay Slater incident. That is true. He's been in Dubai apparently as well, so I heard. Someone else said, I watched Dan O'Keefe video yesterday. It's my belief, and I'm no expert, that the video he saw was something done with AI, with Jay's and Ayub faces superimposed on top whoever was actually being tortured. It will be interesting to see what happens when the police receive a view and examine the video he sent them. That's a possibility, you know. That's a possibility, that really is. Debbie mentioned this in her interview, the old video that has been around. Look, someone else says Dan's lying because he said that he has a video evidence of a kid being tortured and unalive in the most horrific way, and he showed it to at least 3 people to have it verified. He hadn't reported to the police because he said they wouldn't be interested in investigating unless we all went to sign a petition. When he was asked about it in the comment, he avoided the question. Sorry, but he's lying and he needs reporting to the police himself. I think he's got a lot of explaining to do, because I think I'm going to give it until tomorrow, and I will message him, send a message in what he's going to do about what the video he actually got and what is going to come out of it. Because I look at it this way. We can laugh it off and say, oh, he's lying. But he's got to prove himself that he's not. And maybe, like I said, he doesn't know what to do with the information. But I think people are actually really calling him out on it. Chris said, yeah, it is bullshit. We don't know that. If it is evidence that can basically tell us who hurt Jay or even murdered him, then we've just got to believe it for now. Because like I said, if he doesn't say anything by, I would say, Thursday evening, then there's something seriously wrong in what Dan said. So this person went on to say, if he has evidence of it, the police would not need 100k to single something, as it would be there on video of Jay being done in. Very true. I've heard Dan has handed the evidence over to the right people. I have no reason to not believe him. I think they harvested his organs. That would be why Debbie Duncan said they had to repatriate the rest of his missing organs, if I've got that right. But look, I think that it's a possibility. I think we've got to stop overthinking on the matter. I think this case is a bit more simple than what we first thought. Even I was getting on the bandwagon, putting a lot of videos out there, which I thought, could actually maybe bring someone out into the open on this case. But a lot of the YouTubers now, we're basically waiting for something big to happen, and actually Dan put it out there, which could blow this case wide open. If Dan has watched videos, I can understand why he's spoken out, because of anger. Yeah, I think Dan's very emotional. I think he does want Jay Slater's, murderers found, or really find out what happened to him. He wants justice for Jay. I do really think that. I think sometimes Dan, he's a little bit dramatic, a little bit over the top, but I think he's honest. I do think he's honest. Exotic Doll, who's been following me for quite a while now, give him 48 hours, as Marvin said. Fair? I think so. She then went on to say, it is fair when you've put that out there and his parents have to hear it. He didn't tell them and he would give them 40 hours, but I get you. Yeah, I would just give him a bit of time, because if this evidence is true, then people are going to say, oh, wow, he was right about something. But I think it's just the way it dramatically come out. And people have said, has he got mixed up with other videos? One Russian video of someone getting tortured, which has been out there 9 years, and someone said there's another one who looks like Jay. I'm not so sure, because I don't think it is those videos, to be honest with you. I do think it's actually something else. If he's made a mistake, then he needs to address the public as soon as possible. Someone said, Linda Wilson, I've watched Dan O'Keefe for a while now, and he's 100% kosher, doesn't talk shit. To be honest with you, I've only been listening to him for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and I think the guy actually speaks a lot of sense. I think he's very, very passionate in what he talks about. So Vicky Lou said he might be honest, he might be credible, he might be genuinely after justice and not clout. But we are in a world with increasingly technically sophisticated sick people. This is what I've said. Don't be surprised if I've been out in Mexico out on an investigation some years back. And let me tell you something. Things like this do happen, where actual people do video people being tortured. We live normal lives, people, but these things go on all over the time, and people do incriminate themselves because they're so silly and sick and naive sometimes to things going on to the police and being incriminated. And this person went on, I guess the only way to really tell in future could be equally sophisticated digital analysis, the tools for like of which most of us won't have at our disposal. Yeah. Someone else said, if Dan's speaking the truth, then this is awful for Jay and his family. If it is not Jay in this video, it's equally as disturbing, as this is someone else's son this has happened to. When did people in our world become so unforgiving? Very, very true. That is an absolutely great point. I think that we are all after the public, including myself, including Wax, including Joseph Morris, Harsh. We want justice for Jay, but I think we have to be very, very careful now in this case in what we're actually putting out there, unless we've got facts. I've had to kick back a bit because I've been emotionally really involved to try and get justice for Jay, but we have to do it properly. Hope Dan has been in touch with Jay's parents first and then the police. Yeah, I don't think Dan would lie for views like that other dude, Joseph, and his wee dog. I think, look, I think Joseph lost a lot of credibility for what he'd done there, but we got to move on from that because, like, I think most of his shows after that, I've only really been following Joseph since the Jay Slater case. So anything before, I think you learn a harsh lesson. Harsh reality, I listened to his video today. Harsh is authentic, and I feel you are too. Oh, thank you very much. And Wax, the loads of others. But there are still the elements of doubt. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my behalf. Praying what Dan was saying is not true, but we can't because I read in comments he's been at this for years, so I'm still stuck. Thinking, is this all some S job? Might be wishful thinking again on my behalf. Keep lifted. Blessings. That was Karen McCardle. Thank you very much for that. I just wish he didn't give such explicit details before releasing anything online. I just feel for Jay's family. Yeah, I totally agree. I think with Dan, when I listen to him, he's very sort of hardcore talking, should I say. Don't really take any prisoners, and it sort of takes you back a bit. You know, you grab a beer or a glass of wine because you know that he's sort of just gonna bring it to you. But every channel's different. To be honest, I would have come over a bit more calmer in the way he actually said it. What he could have said is that we may have a video of evidence of Jay, and we're going to pass it on to the relevant authorities. That's what I would have said. Someone else says, Pauline, a big fan of mine. How are you, Pauline? Jury. Did you see MMO Tarot where someone said her evidence and there is a body in a cave and others proof of what happened? I've watched a lot of her videos, and she was the one that came out with a lot of different theories which actually made sense. And she was also being sent messages of someone that was hanging out with the crew, Lucy and Brad and all of them out there. So it's interesting. Some of it I believe, some of it I didn't, to be honest with you. But anyone who doesn't know MMO Tarot, she was on the case kind of earlier on, and she has had a lot of messages from people who were believed to actually be there. It could be true, as I remember a message from Lucy, someone, and she said Brad is having nightmares seeing Jay like that. Could this be what is haunting Brad? What was said, I mean, what Dan said, it wouldn't actually surprise me in this case, because when it was said that he was, that he may have been captive and chained up on a boat, and I think it was Joseph Morris who said that, you could hear things in the background, and it's just so sad. I didn't actually want to think about it and mention it because it actually makes me sick and angry as well. So Atlantic Blue, who follows my channel, Roman Potter Paper, Tom Hilton, Brad, Sam Walker, who I believe is ex-Gangland, Steve Lowe were likely the main ones that brutally tortured Jay. Ayub's drug mule were punching Jay in a previous video, a drug mule with a dark blue and white jacket on. There's a YouTube video with the drug mule just arriving in Tenerife, coming out of a taxi with his small suitcase on wheels and shaking Ayub's hand and laughing. The YouTube is called Ayub Meets His Runner. Right, interesting. So people, please have a look at that. Someone else said, I knew Sam Walker was involved, nobody else had mentioned it. I mean, I've heard some stories about this Sam Walker, to be honest with you. I heard he's out of the game, but like I said, you never know, do you? Someone says, if true, the person videoing it has a conscience enough to release it. Yeah, that's a possibility, but people sometimes are so evil and sick that anything goes. It's just that sometimes when you're not from a gangland background or know what goes on, it's hard to take in that someone could be so horrible and nasty and evil to another person. But believe me, people, these things goes on. Wax spoke in one of the vids about hearing change in the background. Contact Wax, the video was recent, within the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I've seen it. I do talk to Wax people and support his channel as well, because I think he comes up with brilliant theories and almost single-handedly, had got in information which others didn't. He said Hayat went to an Irish gangster for advice. Maybe those gangsters actually told the truth about it, because even though dealers, etc., don't like Ryerson when it comes to a teenage boy who didn't do nothing to deserve it, even some big gangsters draw the line with kids. I agree. I'm actually starting to think now, with the top mafia bosses, did they really get involved, or was this just orchestrated by Ayub through Lucy? Because like I said, sometimes I think we go down so many avenues in this case, but it was Ayub who was setting all those scenarios, I think, of the Airbnb, Jay in the back of the car, supposed to be happy and talking. I think it just may be a lot closer to home than what we think, a revenge attack. So someone else went on to say, people seem to think that the UK police are not ready on this. The story stank from the get-go, and this gang of friends are all making themselves scarce and keeping their heads down. We could get a real shock with arrests made. As for the Spanish police, they are corrupt, but they need tourism. They may already working with the UK police. Yeah, there's a possibility, but they were the ones that actually were closing this down straight away. And I think a lot of this, even if the British police did look at it, we got to look at jurisdictions. I know the Spanish police are still investigating some of the body parts which still remain in Tenerife, which is still being looked at. So this case is still open. You never know, but to be honest with you, what Dan says, we're hoping, we're clutching at straws that this information could actually get arrests. That's some of the brilliant messages. Thank you for the new subscribers. We're going to have more videos coming tomorrow, people. Keep supporting the channels, and justice for Jay. Thank you very much indeed.